because I don't want to jinx them.
Okay. Good. Any jinx.
Where in California are you?
I'm in Laguna Beach or
Oh,
Viejo
okay.
again.
That's Southern
Uh,
California, right?
yeah, it's south of LA. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know my LA or my California cities very well. Or in Los Angeles, Hollywood, I know are in this one area. Anaheim's there. San Diego south,
hmm
and
Yeah,
then
Anaheim is I think north of LA
yeah,
and
something like that.
Irvin, and then I go into Orange County, the OC, to
Mm,
come out here.
the OC, that's good stuff. Yeah. When we went to California a couple of summers ago, we stayed in Anaheim. So went to Disneyland.
Yeah, so you can go to Disney.
Yeah. I mean, it's just down the damn road.
Yeah.
Oh man, I got so many important things to talk about today. First, I gotta tell you, we for Mother's Day on Sunday we got barbecue.
hmm
Or like I didn't have
You
time.
got barbecue or you
I
okay.
didn't I could didn't have time to make barbecue, so we got barbecue, which is fine. But there aren't. Milwaukee is not renowned for its barbecue joints.
Was it barbecue drizzle with cheese curds?
No, that might have been pretty good. So just perusing the delivery sites and like, okay, well here's Grubhub. I get like free Grubhub Plus from work, so I usually get
hmm
stuff through Grubhub.
How
And
did or did your work like do business with them or
yeah,
like
so
how
like
does that
everybody
opposite?
that
How do you
works
get
there
free
gets
grub?
a. So when we first started, like 2 years ago when we first started, that we all got free Grubhub Plus and like a $50 credit.
hmm
And now we just have free Grubhub Plus until it goes away, which it hasn't gone away yet. Like sometimes if you're working on a project, they'll add money to it for you, so you can get lunch and stuff like
Okay.
that,
Okay.
which is nice.
Yeah.
Anywho, there's like only like two barbecue places on there. One didn't offer like any sandwiches, just barbecue in bulk. Like, oh, you want 50 pounds of
that's
ribs? Why?
that's
How?
the
Like, how could you even order 50 pounds of ribs on Grubhub and expect them to be delivered? It feels like a day ahead sort of thing you got to do. And then the other
yes.
one, I was like, okay, like we don't order out very often, especially barbecue. There's just not much. And like,
You
okay, they
ordered
have
by the
brisket sandwich
pound?
for Sonya, so I get brisket sandwich, and I
Okay.
get myself some mac and cheese, and I get the kids stuff. I'm like, this is gonna be good. It was jalapeno macaroni and cheese. I was very excited about it. I get it.
Nice.
I go downstairs and crack open my macaroni and cheese, start eating it. It's the goddamn place that puts corn in their macaroni and cheese. I didn't realize
What?
that they don't list it on there as like this has corn in it. They put cream
It's corn and mac and
they
cheese.
put cream
Are
corn.
you sure it was mac?
What?
Are you sure it was mac and cheese and
Yes.
not cream corn?
No, it's macaroni and cheese with cream corn in it. It's more cream corn than it is cheese. It's very
Oh my
disappointing.
God. Oh good God.
Now,
That hurts.
I've had that happen before, and I said I'm never getting this again, and then I forgot. It's been
Surprise!
like 5 years. I forgot. I couldn't remember which one it was. I thought it was other place that closed down, which would make sense because they put corn in their macaroni and cheese.
you you have two meals. Like you have mac and cheese,
Yes.
solid, very solid by itself.
Mm-hmm.
Cream corn, so if like that, if that's what your thing, that's also another side.
Yes.
No one asked those two to be married.
No.
No one asked
I
that
don't want
union.
sweet macaroni and cheese, and that's what cream corn is. It's just sweet, right? I want,
And how do you got jalapeno mac for a reason?
and it was not spicy at all.
It can't be with all that sweet
I know
corn
the
in
sweet
it.
just overwhelms. If like it would have had to have like whole jalapenos in it for it to like be to
Yes.
counteract that because there wasn't even enough cheese to like it wasn't gooey. It wasn't. It
Oh,
was it was creamy.
I'm gonna let you know something.
Yes.
If I got mac and cheese, first of all, I'm lactose intolerant,
Yes.
but mac and cheese is something that I usually can handle. Like the cheese is fine, depending on how creamy you make that
Yep.
cheese. Like I make one at home where heavy whipping cream,
Oh, that'll tear up your guts.
half and
That's
half,
just on
three
principle.
different cheeses.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it's just so that one I make at home definitely does mess my stomach up. But normally when I get mac and cheese, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
That might have killed me. It would have ruined my night. Because
It.
I don't get cream corn for that specific reason.
Yeah.
Because it does dirty things to my stomach.
You know, it's just like if you want cream corn, you order cream corn. If you want macaroni and cheese, you order macaroni and cheese. The two should never meet unless you intentionally mix them on your plate, which you should be, tried for a war crime if you do that anyway. Right? I was so just crestfallen. I was like you can't legitimately complain. It's like it's through Grubhub. I wasn't at the restaurant because if I was at the restaurant, I may have walked it back to the kitchen and said, I don't want this.
But you know what crazy is? We're just not the type of people that complain.
Yes.
There are many people
I know.
that would have complained.
I know.
That would have tried to get their money back or some form of credit for that.
My dad's wife is that person.
I'm the type of person I will get curse and yell in the house when, like, I'm going to Cane's.
Yeah.
And I've ordered the Caniac combo. It's a little bit more expensive,
Uh-huh.
but you get 2 extra nuggets.
Yeah.
You get 2 nuggets, and that's it. That's really the only.
Don't you get extra bread too?
No, I always get extra bread.
Okay.
You get extra sauces or whatever.
Yeah.
But you get 2 extra nuggets and you get a big drink.
Yes.
So sometimes when I'm feeling really hungry, I'll get the big drink. And so I go to Cane's, I pick it up, I take it home. I don't even look at it.
Yes.
And there's only 4 damn tenders in it.
Never go through the drive-through. You know why? Because I fuck you through the drive-through.
They fuck the drive-through.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah. But do you complain? No, you just go, I'm never going to that Cane's again. I get mad at myself.
I get mad at myself.
Yep.
I should have checked it before I left.
Yes.
That's on me.
Yep.
Not on them for taking my money, making the wrong thing and giving me the wrong thing. It's on me, and I will eat that because I don't feel like going back to the store.
Nope.
That's one of the things.
Unless Cane's is in your front yard, then you're not going to go back.
You're not.
Oh God, and that happens all the time too. And I get and it's always my stuff that gets messed up. It's never the kids' stuff or the wife's stuff that gets messed up.
Yes,
it's always my stuff.
Happened at Chick-fil-A recently. They just didn't put my sandwich in the middle. My specific sandwich. The only one who ordered a spicy chicken sandwich from them. The only sandwich missing. They had my fries. They had the fries. They had my drink. Yeah. Only thing missing was the damn sandwich.
It's always me, and I always get angry, and I'm always like, and I'd stomp around and make everybody else's plates. I give them enjoy your dinner, and then
I can't.
Then I don't do anything. Now I will say this, because I'm stupid and I have a very picky eating family. If we ever order out, I usually have to make 3 stops.
Check everything.
Right? I have to go one
different places?
Yes. But they're usually all clustered, right? They're all in the same area or same parking lot. And Hadley and I will usually get the same thing. So we got Qdoba, and I got all the way home, and she was so hungry because she had softball or basketball. I can't remember what it was. She was active all morning. She's like, I just want my dinner. And it was late. We get home. She orders her 3 steak tacos. Guess what's not in the tacos? Steak.
Steak?
Yes, they didn't put the steak in the damn steak tacos. And she gets just very plain cheese and lettuce tacos. And
that's
I've never.
That's enough to make the Wendy's.
I had to go.
Sandwich
I had to run to Wendy's because that's close to get her replacement. I just felt so bad, and she was really upset. And that's the first time I want to say that somebody else's order got screwed up. But yes, corn, macaroni, and cheese. Now I gotta show you something that's important, but it's not the most important thing. But it is important.
Okay.
And it has nothing to do with football, but it has something to do with baseball. The Mariners dropped hot dogs out of the sky with parachutes.
I saw that.
Can you imagine how amazing that would be? You're sitting there and a hot dog comes floating down in your lap. That would be the greatest thing ever. They're like little parachutes with hot dogs on them. Hot dogs from heaven. What? How cool is that?
You want to just eat hot dogs that you don't have a clue.
That's true.
They just came out the sky. Who's eating sky dogs?
Well, what if they might be encased, right, in plastic, like one of those plastic shells?
I'm picturing a very phallic thing floating down like this. Whee!
Just one hot dog in a bun, all loose.
It's not even in a bun.
It's just a singular hot dog. You're you eat it as it comes down.
Exactly.
That'd be awesome too. I'd be for that. The Mariners.
Somebody got kicked out of that game.
Who?
somebody got kicked out of that game for doing something. I don't know what he did with the wieners.
Oh.
But I believe a guy got kicked out. They was like, yeah, a guy gets kicked out of the hot dog. Like, I don't know what happened.
Well, if you did something, you deserve to get kicked out of that. All right. So now I got to ask you your opinion on this. This isn't important. I mean, it is mildly important, but not the most important thing. So, what's his face? The new head coach for the Commanders, former, what's his name?
Who is the head coach?
He was the
Morris, right?
No, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys.
I can't remember
his name either.
I wanted to say Dan Campbell.
Not Dan Campbell.
Quinn? Is it Quinn?
Yes,
No.
Quinn. Dan Quinn, right?
Dan Quinn.
Why does he go to a press conference? What is this like logo? They're trying to like bring back the old Redskins logo. Like they're trying to. Like, it's got feathers on it. It doesn't.
Oh, what? Wait!
Look,
wait!
It's the W, but
I see it now. I did not see it at first. Why?
I don't know. Why are they doing that? Why is he wearing it? Like I feel like they can't be like official like in their shop. It feels like it's like an Etsy thing or something like that. Like somebody
like he had that specifically made.
Yes.
And nobody said, "Sir, we can't do that."
We can't do that. Yeah, like it doesn't have anything to do with Commanders at all. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Nothing anymore. I understand that you get the nostalgia, but they kept the colors. You get the colors.
Yes.
Right? That's all the nostalgia you need for that horrible team name that you had forever.
Yes. And now they're trying to like put it into their stuff, which not a fan.
They can't. You're right. That has to have been something that he saw someone else. He saw it on somebody's Etsy and bought it.
Yeah.
Right? That's completely fan made.
It doesn't make sense.
It's not been sponsored by the team in any shape, form, or fashion.
Yes. I don't know why.
That's despicable. It's actually despicable.
It is, yeah. I don't know why. I hope somebody called him out for it, but probably didn't.
No one called him out for it.
Okay. Now I gotta show you. I gotta show you this. If
anyone called him out for it, it was the PR.
What's that?
If anyone called him out, it's PR team.
Yes.
That's the only one. They took him to the side and said, "Don't wear that again."
Now, somebody shared this and they said, "I'm going to die on this hill," and the hill is.
Oh no.
He says this is the greatest swing in baseball history, and it's freaking Ken Griffey Jr. Right?
That's not
even a hill to die on. That's like a flat plate.
Everyone says that.
Yes. Like what kind of hill is like? That's not even a hill. Like nobody's gonna fight you on that.
I don't think he understands when someone says "I will die on that hill."
Yeah.
I don't think he understands the whole the connotation of that.
Like you're up on a hill and you're fighting off everybody is like trying to come up the hill at you. No.
I'll fight anyone who disagrees with me. Sir, no one disagrees with me.
It's like a public pool. Like everybody in, right? This is the greatest swing in baseball history. No shit, right?
The
like
sweetest swing.
Most.
Oh my God. On his sneakers. All right. Jordan has the logo, his Jordan logo, the arm stretch logo. Ken Griffey had his logo on his sneakers.
And it was
it's the only one that I think, yes, it's the only other thing that I think you could silhouette, and I know exactly.
Yes.
That's Ken Griffey Jr.
Maybe Tiger Woods fist pumping.
Might be, yes. But even that would look weird, as a logo, but the silhouette of that swing and just like the bat almost hitting like coming around.
Yes.
It's just perfect.
It is perfect. And you could take it at like almost any moment within the swing and you'd be like, it could be the stance, it could be the extension, it could be the follow through, like any moment that it's Ken Griffey Jr. and you're just like, okay.
I don't know if this is, you may look it up, either Ken Griffey Jr.'s son or someone related to him playing golf, and they said, of course he would have a perfect golf swing like this ball.
Yes, I'm sure he does.
It runs in the family. The golf swing is just as good as the. But yeah, that's a beautiful swing. Oh man, Ken Griffey was such a great player.
Yeah, I love Ken Griffey Jr. And that's a
wholesome.
Yes, he's a career It's a Hall of Fame career, one of the greatest players ever, but could have been better if he stayed healthy. Like
could have been
to
better.
say that a 600 home run guy or 580 home run guy could have been better if he stayed healthy, and you're just like, what? Like
healthy King Griffey Jr. I was saying it in the 90s. Is competing for Hank Aaron's record.
Yes, yeah.
He may not hit 61. I don't think he would have ever hit the season total.
Yeah.
He came close.
Yes,
he came close. He did. Sometimes. But I don't think that was ever going to be his thing.
No.
He was never going to juice up and get to 60, which would have been but he would have hit 45, 50 home runs
every
a year.
That's how Hank Aaron did. Hank Aaron never hit 50 in a season. He just hit 35 to 45 every year for 20 years, right? Like, that's just good.
And he was good. It was sad in the last, like, not sad, but because you know what he could have been, but it was still a Hall of Fame career.
Yes. And to say I'll never play for the Yankees earns like instant respect for every other baseball fan on the face of the earth. All right. So a little bit of football news. Malik Neighbors signs his rookie contract. He's under contract for the Giants. Big news out of Bears camp. Caleb Williams was named starter.
I saw that not only was named starter, but he has got absolutely no competition.
No.
Zero competition.
No. So there's that.
I saw something about Malik Neighbors that not made me laugh, but made me go, okay. He refused to say Marvin Harrison and Rome Odunze's name. Just refused to say their names.
Why?
The other guys or whatever. During not now, but when they had him in for the for like interviews, like when he was. I think the Giants brought all three of them in at the same time.
All right.
But he said he looked at his competition and they were the other guys. He didn't want to even give them any credit. If that gives you a competitive advantage or however you feel, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I mean, if you have to whatever you have to fabricate or whatever, and he's gonna be like he's gonna feel like he was slighted even though he went 6th in the draft, right? It's like there were 5 guys that went ahead of me and that shit never happened. It's like okay, whatever you need to do. That was like oh god. Somebody else did that. It's like, it was like another first round pick. It's like, oh, I felt like I was slighted. And like, you went top 10. Like, how can you feel slighted? Yeah. So those are the two big football newsy things. I guess there was rookie mini camp this last week.
Yep.
Oh, I don't want to talk about the big thing yet. We should talk about Jared Goff. Gets a 4-year extension for a lot of money. I don't even remember what the total was.
$53 million a year, 53. So just make this 212 for 4 years.
And like 170 of it was guaranteed, I want to say.
Guaranteed.
Oh, what does that mean for Dak Prescott?
That's what that means. That's what it's telling me. Like so far, they have not signed CeeDee Lamb, and since not signing CeeDee Lamb, Amon State Raw got his contract.
Yes.
And now they did not sign Dak, and another Detroit player got their contract, which is going to make if they have no choice now but to just give up. Like they can't do anything. I actually thought that Dak was a $60 million. He was going to be the first $60 million a year because of the money he's already being paid.
Yes.
He's not going to go lower.
No.
So he's going to be $60 million a year.
Yeah.
So they're just I don't know.
All right. So Goff is 212 and 170 guaranteed. Whew, that's so much money.
It is.
And he's been good.
Not only has he been good, someone said he's 28 or 29 years old. I said, what? I remember Goff being in the league feels like forever.
Yeah.
So to be that young and with that much, like he'll get another contract. Not maybe 2. He'll get at least another contract.
Yeah, when this contract is over, he'll be 30.
Wait, he'll be 30? But how old is he now? I thought he was 28, 29.
Shoot. I looked at this. That was the previous contract he just got over.
Okay,
his current contract ends this year. He's 30. So when he's done, he'll be 34. I was looking at this like, oh my God. No.
Yeah,
I'm like, how is he that young?
That's when they said he's 29 or something, I was like,
yeah.
I thought he was 32, maybe 33.
Feels like he's been around for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
But, he started with...
He's had a few careers. It feels like...
Yeah, the Rams, and he went to...
Wasn't he in St. Louis? He was with the St. Louis Rams.
Yeah, yep. He took the Rams to the Super Bowl in Los Angeles, right? Remember that?
Definitely did.
Do you remember that game
he's never been a slouch.
Against Kansas City where it was like 50-49? Him and Mahomes combined for like 1,000 yards passing. Do you remember? Mm-hmm. Like, that was Goff.
He's not bad.
No. He's always been pretty good.
He's never been bad. He's just quiet.
Yeah.
He's not the showboat guy, and he just puts up numbers. It's like when a player puts on basketball, you'd be like, yeah, I held him down. Like, how did Tim Duncan down? And you look at the stat sheet. Did he have 28? 13 rebounds and 4 block shots. I didn't like that's how Goff to me is. You look at him and you can't see an amazing game. He may not have a 4 touchdown game, but he'll have 2 touchdowns, 430 yards, and on the season have 4,500 yards and 30 touchdowns.
Last year he completed 67% of his passes, 45-75 in yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 picks. Passer rating of 97.9. Now, I'm going to say this. Of those 12 picks, 5 came against the Bears in the Bears 2 games. So there's that. The Bears are celebrating. He's only 29 right now. It's his 30-year-old season. Let me give you his yardage total since 2016. His rookie year, he played 7 games, 1,089 yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 hits. 38-04, 28-7. 46-88, 32-12. 46-38, 22-16. 39-52, 20-13. 32-45. That was his first year with Detroit when they lost like 14 games or whatever it was. 19 touchdowns, 8 picks. 44-38, 29-7, and last year 45-75, 30-12. He's been good. He's been good to very good.
That's what I mean. Like, he's never going to have. He never has that many passing touchdowns. He's not one of those guys who's going to put up 4 touchdowns in a game. 3 touchdowns, he's not going to average 3. He'll get you 1 or 2, but he'll still throw for 350 to 400 yards a game.
Do you know somehow he wasn't a Pro Bowler last year? I don't know how Jared Goff was not a Pro Bowler last year. That's weird.
Well, the NFC would have had Brock Purdy, Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts probably.
That's true, yeah.
But now they all can't make the Pro Bowl. So now you got to figure out who would possibly been an alternate.
So
because then he would have to step in at some point in time. Because I'm trying to think of anyone who else in the NFC would have stepped in to be.
See, now you
Kirk Cousins. No, Kirk Cousins was injured. Baker Mayfield made a Pro Bowl, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Complete NFC roster revealed. Let's see. Quarterbacks. Just give me a list. Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith. Wait, what?
Last year? No. Geno Smith last year?
Oh, yeah. This is the 2023 Pro Bowl. Come on, Google. All right. You got to put 2024 Pro Bowl game. Here we go. Complete NFC roster revealed. Wow. Okay. God, like ads. Brock Purdy didn't play because he's in the Super Bowl. Dak Prescott, Matt Stafford, Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith. Hurts replaces Purdy. Mayfield replaces Prescott. Smith replaces Stafford.
He had 4,600 yards passing, 30 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions.
Yes, and he wasn't a Pro Bowler.
What did Baker Mayfield have? I need to know now because
I can tell you that.
I don't think he had that. And we're not saying the other part. His team was the number
2 seed, 3 seed, or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, because the number 2 seed was the Cowboys and lost in the first round.
So the Bake Show put up 4,044 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 picks.
That's not as good as...
Yeah, it's 500 It's 500
And
yards less.
They were a 9-win team.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns less and 2 picks left. Yeah, less. I don't know. Anyway, Jared Goff kind of gets. He looks like what's his face from the Barbie movie. And
oh yes, Gosling,
Beavis,
Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, Gosling. He kind of looks like Gosling.
Nah, he's Beavis.
Yes, he's Barbie movie and Beavis. He's all the other things like. So yeah, whatever. I don't know. I just know that there's 2 quarterbacks that are extension due, and Trevor Lawrence and Dak.
Trevor Lawrence better not even look at that kind of money.
He's going to get it. You know he's going to get it because if the Jags don't give it to him, he's going to get it from somewhere else.
Nobody's going to give him that much money. There are free agents, and there are Trevor Lawrence. You can try to fight it if you want, but there's nowhere on this God's green earth that someone's going to pay that man $52 million for what he's given them. Right? Like, we did the math. Like, him and Gardner Minshew's numbers aren't that far apart.
4,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 14 picks last year. He is a turnover guy. 4,100 yards, 25 and 8 the year before. His rookie year, he really struggled. And I say that really struggled. He had 3,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, 17 picks. But he's going to get paid.
He's going to get paid. I'm not denying what he gets paid. His range does not need to be in the Kirk Cousins,
it's going to be
the Jalen Hurts, the Dak Prescotts, and now like those. He needs to. And what's going to hurt? What's going to be crazy is that he's going to look at the younger group that he's part of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not. Let's take the Dak Prescotts out.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take out. We can even take out the Patrick Mahomes, honestly. He's going to be compared to the Herbert, Burrow, Allen, and him. Those 4.
Mm-hmm.
They're. I know that they weren't the same draft, but to me, they're kind of linked together in terms of the way I look at them.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to want to get paid like them, but he doesn't have the only person accolades he has that might be there is Herbert's. He did they won a playoff game last year and lost to the Chiefs.
No, Jacksonville lost.
Not last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah, the year before they beat the Chargers in the playoffs after the Chargers went up by 4 touchdowns or whatever. And Trevor Lawrence had thrown 4 picks in the first quarter and a half. Justin Herbert. I'm going to compare the two.
Their contracts or their games or their seasons? Because their stats don't compare.
No. Because the thing is, Herbert has played 12 more games. Herbert has, because Herbert missed quite a bit of last year. So they've played 12 more games. He's got a higher completion percentage, 66.6 to 63.8. He's got 6,000 more yards
in 12 games.
12 games, yeah. So I mean,
6,000.
Yeah, just about 6,000. I'm sorry,
that's
5,500 yards. That's like a whole season's worth of yardage.
That's more than the whole season. He'll never hit 5,500 in 12 games. 12 games. He'll never hit.
He's got more yards per attempt, 7.1, and Justin Herbert has like a relatively low yards per attempt. Yards per game, he's got 277 to 235. Now here's a big one. 12 games. Trevor Lawrence has 58 touchdowns. Guess how many Justin Herbert has? In 62 games.
106.
114. 114.
In 12 games more?
In 12 games more, he's got almost 60 more touchdowns.
Almost 10 touchdowns a game.
Herbert averages over almost 2 touchdowns a game passing.
And see, this is why what I mean, like, he's to me forever linked with those group of guys, but he's not that
Herbert's
level.
So good. I know you like to dog Herbert. He is so good. If he was on a good team, people would.
What do you mean a team that plays
a good team, like a well-coached team that plays all facets of the game, and does not rely him to be Superman every game for them to win. right? So you put him on a good team. Let's say he was on the Bills, he would have Josh Allen's style success. If you put him on the Dolphins, what if he was on the Dolphins?
You can't be up 4 touchdowns in the playoffs and lose. You can't be up 4 touchdowns.
They were up 4 touchdowns.
That's not defense. That's not defense, though. That's not defense. You're up 4 touchdowns. All you got to do is score. Just
they did.
Keep marching. Do what you're doing.
So they only had the ball 4 times in the second half, right? And they scored 2 field goals out of those 4. And they missed a field goal, and they punted once, right? Like, I mean, yeah, Justin Herbert's good. Like, I wish he was on a good team, because then it would.
Very talented. He's a very talented quarterback.
If he was on a good team,
I'll give him that.
It would be like
I'll give him that.
People would be like, it's Mahomes, it's Allen, it's Herbert, it's Burrow, and Burrow's only on that list because he went to a Super Bowl once. Because other than that season, he hasn't done a whole lot.
But can we say that the difference between Mahomes and Herbert, team-wise, is Andy Reid? That's really the difference, because the Chargers have had the better wide receiver core.
The Chiefs have had one of the best defenses in football, top 10 defense for the last 3 years.
They've got players.
They're always.
But so if you went player for player along the line, you got Bosa.
Oh, sure.
And you have what's his name for the Chiefs? They just got that contract. Chris Jones, right? If you went player for player, I don't think the teams is that much different. And I think on offense, the Chargers have a better team. The real difference on paper is Andy Reid.
Coaching, yeah,
right?
For sure.
But the level of wins and the quality of wins is through the roof.
Oh, for sure.
It's not close. But when you say that if he was on a better team, I don't think his team is bad. I don't see, like, offensive wise, they're good. They have decent players on defense. They may not have great scheme, because it's not great.
No, because
the coaching is not very good.
They scored at a historic rate and gave up more points than they scored. Like I don't know what the exact numbers are, but let's say they scored 450 points and they gave up 500. And both were records, right, over a course of 3 years. So
they now their team has changed. The crazy part is they have absolutely completely changed the side of the ball that was their strength. Yes. And then they didn't do much on defensive side of the ball. So only thing they did was bring in a new coach.
And get rid of all their wide receivers.
And get rid of all the wide receivers. They don't have Austin Eckler. It's all gone.
They gave up their
they got Joe Alt.
They gave up their go-to guy from within the 10, because Austin Eckler would just score. You give him the ball within 10 yards, either on a pitch or a pass or handoff. He found a way to score. He would get there.
Yeah.
He was the antithesis of what the Cowboys had last year. All right, Eckler is a touchdown machine. Mm-hmm. They gave up all their wide receivers, and they stay with brick hands Quentin Johnston.
Oh, because they can't get rid of him.
He's only a rookie, right? And then they get a new offensive tackle on the right side. Great. Khalil Mack had an outstanding year, but he's like edging 35, if not 36. He's getting up there. So there's going to be a moment where it's like, well, Khalil Mack has hit the wall. It's going to happen. It just happens.
But Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa didn't make their defense any better.
No.
You have 2 of the premier pass rushers in the league, and your defense is not better.
In fact, let's look at. I always spell Khalil wrong. It's KH.
Yeah, KH.
All right. So Khalil Mack last year had 17 sacks in 17 games.
Sacks.
I want to say he may have led the league. No, he did not. But he had 17 sacks, which was a career high at 32 years old. 17 sacks, 74 tackles. He had a great season.
Yeah, but he should for the amount
Man,
of
he
money
had
he's
10
getting
pass
paid and
defenses
causing
too,
them. He had,
and
but
5
that's what I'm
forced
trying to tell you.
fumbles.
How is all of this equaling one of the worst defenses in
I
the
don't know.
league?
He's only one man though. He's one man out of 11 out there. Like
Joey Bosa's on
I
the other
know,
side.
like Khalil Mack was really good last year. Probably his best season. Yeah. I mean, he had that year for the
Well,
Raiders
listen, he's had that year for the
where he
Raiders.
had
He had that year for the
15
Bears, and
sacks.
now he's gonna do it for
Yeah.
one of his teams. He's gonna do it.
Yeah. He's just really good. And
He's good.
and to have your best year at 32, that's and
He's
I
not
think
that
he
time.
was
I think at 30.
good.
I think 35 for a defensive lineman, or 33 between 33 to 35 is really the cutoff. When Aaron Donald retired, was he 33?
Yeah, something like that. I want to
I
say
think
that Khalil Mack was like teetering on retirement going into last season, and they talked him into coming back. And now they had to restructure his contract because he was
They
due
don't
like
have any
$70
money.
million this year or something silly like that.
They don't have any money.
No, they do not. No, they do not. Let's see. Do we talk about the thing? Yeah, let's talk about
NBA
it.
schedule comes out tomorrow.
It
I mean, NFL
does.
schedule comes out tomorrow.
It does. And we've already got a
This-
few teasers. I want to say the
Yeah, there's
first
a
Monday
bunch.
night game is the 49ers versus somebody. I don't know. Like none of it was like I think Kansas City and Baltimore open up Thursday night.
Yes.
The Packers and
Yep.
the Eagles play in Brazil or something like that on Friday.
Correct. Yep.
Let's see. NFL schedule. Like nothing like I know that they want it to be like
It
exciting and
it
stuff.
does nothing. To me, I don't care about the schedule except for when I'm looking to see what game I want to actually go to.
Yeah.
Like because I've got a small window of vacation time because they announce what teams you're playing months in advance,
Yes.
and they announce the home and the away schedule. So you know all the teams you are going to play and where you're going to play.
Yep.
You just don't have dates
Just
behind
don't know
them.
the order.
The dates I don't care too much about.
All right, so we have 6 games out of the first two weeks that have been leaked or released or whatever. So we have the Ravens and the Chiefs opening up on Thursday, September 5th, Thursday night. So what's his face can Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit can at least not complain for 1 week. Then the Packers and the Eagles are in Rio on Friday. And then we have, the big Tom Brady's inaugural day in the booth. For Fox is the Cowboys and the Browns, 3:25 on September 8th. And then we have Aaron Rodgers and his smoked turkey leg shredded Achilles tendon versus Brock Purdy on September 9th, my birthday.
That's a good game.
Yeah, what?
I like that one.
There's part.
If you're gonna have that game, I think it's better to have it early. That's not because it's an AFC NFC game. Really won't have much to do with anything. Get it out the way early, especially while this to open the week up. I like it.
I don't wish ill for anyone, and I hate Aaron Rodgers less as a player since he left the Packers, but as a person, he is like one of the worst human beings, right? I don't know if you saw this recently. He was on Tucker Carlson's.
No.
And,
I did not see
and he was
it.
simping for Putin. Like I'm not even kidding. He said something along the lines of, "I wish Joe Biden knew American history as well as Vladimir Putin knows Russian history." That's the only soundbite.
Because of the day that the victory day that they celebrated the other day.
I have no idea. I just Aaron Rodgers, the man. He's not. He's one of those guys that somebody said, "Oh, you're really smart too," when he was like 14, and he's run with it. Like he's not smart. He's God. He just drives me nuts. So anyway, like if he went out there and his other Achilles tendon ruptured, it happens. And then week 2, we get the Bills and Dolphins. on what looks like Thursday night. Oh man, Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit won't complain for 2 straight weeks. And then we got Joe Burrow versus Patrick Mahomes on Sunday, the 15th.
The Sunday is the second week of the season?
Yep.
Are we sure Burrow's going to be ready to play? Listen, you know Burrow and his early season injuries.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I hope he's ready to play. I really want Joe Burrow to play, and I want him to be good. But history is not on your side.
It is not. I don't know.
And I'm not even trying to be a hater. I'm just being like, he got hurt his rookie year, right? He only played
out for the season.
10 games his rookie year. And then I guess he played a full 2021 and full 2022. Great.
Yeah.
They made the Super Bowl in 2021, right? I think that's what it was.
Did he play a full season 2020? The next one after that?
Yep.
I remember one of those seasons. Was it last year? He got injured in preseason.
Last year, he got injured in the preseason, and then they got injured in the season. He only played 10 games last year, and he was okay last year. He's adequate in those 10 games, but like in those 2 that he played full seasons, great. 4,600 yards on 70% completions, 34 touchdowns, 14 picks. They went to the Super Bowl that year, right? That was the Jamar Chase rookie season. And then he had 4,400 yards the next season, 35 touchdowns, 12 picks. Great season again, right? But he's had 2 great seasons and 2 half seasons where he's hurt. I don't know. He got that big money last year. He hasn't even played 5 years yet. He's still in his rookie contract. You know, we'll see. I want him to be good. I hope he is. I like Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Okay. He was glad he hadn't Trump at an MMA fight.
Yeah, I was about to say some things will come out, and I'm like,
right? Like, what are you doing? It's like him and Guy Fieri, and you're just like, why? Why are you guys? Why? I always think of the Flight of the Conchords, the song where they talk about their people diss their raps or say my raps are sissy. Why? Be constructive with your criticism. So whenever I say why, it's like Jermaine. Why? All right. I gotta find the tweet. Now I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna preface the tweet. What they did was somebody took over the last 10 years and ordered the baseball teams with from the highest winning percentage to lowest winning percentage over 10 years. Basketball teams from the highest winning percentage to the lowest winning percentage. And football teams from the highest winning percentage to the lowest winning percentage. And so number 1 is these 3 teams, down to number 30 are these 3 teams. And of course football has 32 teams. And the 2 worst teams in football over the last 10 years are?
And those are the Giants and the Bears. No. The Giants is I think
neither. One's a New York team, though.
Oh.
The Jets and the Jags. Jets and the Jags are the 2 worst teams. They are a league of their own. They're over the last 10 years are the 2 worst.
Oh, I'm sorry to interrupt. I heard a funny stat. It was somebody was on TV. It's like, all right, so there out of 4 teams, there are 4 teams in the AFC East, right? Of the 4 teams, what team do you think? What was it? What place do you think the Jets are on that rank in terms of how many AFC East championships they won?
Oh no. AFC East championships?
AFC East championship.
3rd.
They are 5th out of 4 teams.
Well, so who was in the AFC East before they realigned?
The Baltimore Colts have more AFC East championships than the Jets. When it was 5 teams in it, they won it more time. They're 5th. They've been in AFC East the entire time.
Wow. All right. Well, so the Jets and the Jags are the 2 worst winning percentages over the last 10 years in the NFL. Before I show the grid, where do you think your beloved Giants land? Where do you think the Knicks land?
Our 10 years haven't been bad. In the last 10 years for the Knicks, it's been a little bit ups and downs because we went to the playoffs in 2014. We didn't have too many wins in that, and then we've been to the playoffs the last 3 years straight. In between there were some bad ones.
Mm-hmm.
There were some bad ones. There was the 17-win season with RJ when we got RJ Barrett when we was tanking for Zion. So that was a 17-win season. We can't be worse than the Detroit Pistons in that time. I'll say that. We're not worse than the Detroit Pistons.
Right, where do you think the Pistons rank then, out of 1 through 30? Over the last 10 years.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone that may be worse than them. I'm going to say they're last.
Yep, you are correct. They're number 30.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think the Knicks fall on that? 1 through 30. We know they're not 30.
26? 26?
Right. There's your guess. Where do you think the Giants sit on that?
28?
Okay.
Out of 30?
Where do you think the Mets sit on that?
Oh, come on. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Out of all of our teams, the Mets are the best.
I was about to say the Mets haven't been absolute trash.
Out of all of our teams, the Mets are the best.
I wouldn't call them middle of the pack. I'd say 18.
Okay.
A little bit.
Now, I'm going to tell you where my teams rank. The highest ranking is the Bulls at 21.
The Bulls?
In the last 10 seasons, have the 21st highest winning percentage in the NBA. The White Sox are 25th out of 30 teams, and the beloved Bears are 28th. Okay.
Well, that's why I said the Giants won.
Do you think the Giants are better or worse than the Bears?
Y'all had 2 years. They had a double doink year, and y'all had a year where y'all had 2 years that y'all were the playoff team. That's
so
it.
The playoff team, the second playoff team was 8-8, though. It was an extended playoffs, and they went
at 3. I'm just going to see who's been drafting higher over the years. And you can just look at picks. The Giants have been drafting in the top 10 pretty
consistently.
Pretty consistently for the last I'm going to say we're better than the Bears.
Okay.
No, we're not. We're one of the worst teams.
Do you think they're better than the Browns?
No.
All right. Here it is. I'm sorry to give you this information. I saw it and I thought this would be fodder for conversation. Oh, I have to scroll up because guess what? The Giants are at the bottom.
I told you they were. Because of the 30. Okay, because of the 30. Yeah, that's kind of where I thought they might have been.
So the Giants, the Pistons, and the Marlins.
Damn it, Knicks.
They got the Bears, the Knicks, and the Reds at 28. The Lions, the Bulls, and the Padres at 21.
The Mets at 13.
The Mets, the Pacers, and the Colts. Now, it's funny that 2 Indiana teams are there. Now, is this company you want to associate yourself with, though? The Pacers and the Colts? I don't know.
None of them have championships. We're not out of the realm of championship winning teams, though. Like they don't have championships. Colts haven't had a championship since Peyton was there.
Nope.
The Pacers haven't had one since I think we looked at it last. It was like 79.
Yep.
So, are there any championships? All right, the Marlins. No, in the last 10 years they didn't have one championship. In the last 10 years.
I think the Marlins have won a World Series in the last 10 years.
The Reds and the Browns, the Bears, no, they haven't.
Marlins World Series.
Nope, yeah.
Was it 2003? I mean, I thought it was sooner than that.
Wait, there you go. There's NL.
They won 2. So. I guess 2003 was the last one.
Yeah, I was saying, yeah, definitely.
Felt like it was more recently than that, but I guess not.
So that Dodgers. Chiefs, number 1, I don't like it.
The Dodgers, Golden State, the Chiefs run right there at number 1 over the last 10 years.
Boston with number 2.
Yeah.
So California is crazy. California, I understand, is big.
Yeah.
But Boston, the city of Boston being number 2.
But look, you got the Patriots, and this is only the Patriots because of the last 3 years. Right? Because Tom Brady left. But you got the Patriots, you got the Celtics, and you got the Astros at number 2. The Yankees, who is that?
Well, I would say
What basketball team is that logo?
that's the new Clippers logo. Is that the new Clippers logo? Yeah.
The Clippers are the third best team over the last decade. Yeah, I don't see the Clippers anywhere else.
Yeah, that's
that's Washington D.C. That's
the Wizards.
That's the penis going in the butthole. Yeah, the Raptors are 5. Logo. Yeah, okay. So the Clippers are the third best team with the Yankees and the Steelers. It's kind of fitting that these two.
Neither one of those teams have won, but none of them have won championships in the last 10 years.
But it's kind of fitting that these two are together, right? They always make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they just don't do anything beyond that. And then you got Wisconsin.
Ooh, Wisconsin.
You got the Bucks and.
Is that the Guardians?
And the Guardians, yeah, they've been.
The Guardians has been that good.
Yeah. The Cardinals, the Raptors, the Seahawks, the Rays, the Nuggets, the Ravens.
Oh, I find it funny that the Cubs and the Cowboys
America's teams, yeah. Like if this was the Lakers and not the Jazz, you'd be like the three. But the Lakers are 23rd.
Oh, my God. I find it funny that the Eagles and the Red Sox are together, too. Two teams that they talk a lot of mess. They're not as successful as they think they are.
Atlanta, the Heat, the Bills, the Brewers, the Thunder, the Saints. Yeah. Actually, this whole little stretch right here is kind of funny. Only because the Spurs were really bad. The Spurs had the number 1 pick this year because they were terrible.
Yeah, I think they were tanking. Yeah. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I think they were tanking.
So one terrible year doesn't even knock them out of the top 10 in winning percentage, where they had like a 200 winning percentage.
They only missed the playoffs that 1 year.
Yeah, I know.
They'd been in a playoff team Greg Popovich had a streak of 28 seasons in a row, so missing the playoffs. It was stupid.
Eagles, the Red Sox, yep. Blue Jays, the Cavs, the Vikings. The Cavs and the Vikings, these feel like three very similar teams. But at least the Cavs and the Blue Jays have won championships. The Mariners, maybe if the Mariners were the Vikings, it would feel similar. Who's that logo? I don't recognize it.
That's the Pelicans.
That's the Pelicans at 12? No, it's Pelicans at 18.
Yeah, no, the Pelicans down there. Where is that? I can't see it. Let me see if I can zoom in.
I can't. Sure, will let me zoom in on it.
The Miami Heat?
No, the Heat are right here.
Nope, the Heat's over there.
Rockets. It's the Rockets. I see the R.
The Rockets, okay.
So the Rams, the Rockets, the Mariners, the Mets.
They've stunk too, but they did have they had those Harden years.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I was just really crestfallen to see the Bears and the Giants down here the last 3.
The Bears and the Knicks.
But these teams have been really bad though for the last 10 years.
They have been bad. But you know what's funny? I think if you do the next 10, my Knicks are going to be better.
Yeah.
Because we had a 50-win season this year.
Yep.
We had a 40-something win, 2 40-something win seasons.
Yep.
So I think our numbers look better for the next year, which is why I'm happy. The Knicks are doing better. The Giants have been rebuilding for 12 years or so now.
Yeah.
And that's I don't like that. I don't like the 12-year rebuild.
Yeah. The Giants have had a tough
go.
And
your Bulls are not going to be. They're going to go down.
Their Bulls are terrible.
If we do this, that's going to go down. And your White Sox.
Those two teams are both owned by Reinsdorf, and they are the 2 worst-run teams in both sports, respectively, as of right now. I think the Bulls are one of the worst-run teams in basketball, and the White Sox are undoubtedly one of the worst teams. Well, the Pistons.
I'm going to tell you something about not just the Pistons. I think the Washington Wizards are doing something. They're really bad, and they don't have any hope for the future. You know what's crazy about the Bulls? The Bulls, though, are trying to put up a winning team.
Yep.
Their players aren't bad. DeMar DeRozan's not bad.
Nope.
Levine's not bad. I like Vukovic. He doesn't work on that team, but I don't think he's a bad player.
Yep.
And I saw what they were trying to do when they got him. And if you had Lonzo, that's not. And I like Kobe White too. Like
Kobe White's a nice.
What
player.
I think y'all are trying. I don't think the Wizards are trying. I don't think the Pistons are trying.
No, Pistons are really
like there are teams out there that they need to owners need to talk about what they're doing to the league, because you can't really, like what the Oakland A's were doing. They're like, you're doing something. You're not trying to put a winning team on the floor.
Now, here's the crazy thing. The Oakland A's are number 19 on that
They're
list.
winning. Oh, yeah, but they're winning now. They're winning this year.
Yeah. I got to look at Detroit Pistons. Detroit Pistons record
this year? Oh,
last 10 years. I'm just curious. Historical statistics for the Detroit Pistons. Where are they? Oh, boy. Winning percentage 171, 207, 280, 278, 303. They were 500 in 2019. 476, 451, 537, and they were 44 and 38 one year in 2015, and then 390. Boy, they've been really bad. That's a bad stretch.
They're not even, but the thing is, they're not trying, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. If you're a bad team, I want to see you trying to get better. Like the Wizards, they're just making really bad decisions. They had Bradley Beal at one point in time. They stunk. They had Russell Westbrook. They stunk. They then went and got, oh my God, Kuzma and some of those Laker guys. They are absolute trash. They're watching their team is just,
No, it's funny. They had Stan Van Gundy as their head coach for 4 years.
The Pistons?
Yes.
The Pistons?
Yeah.
Yes.
They were 32-50, 44-38, 37-45, 39-43. Now they weren't great, but they weren't nearly as bad as the next 6 years. Man, they were terrible. Ugh.
Stan Van Gundy and the Van Gundys, the league kind of outgrew them.
They're better analysts than they are head coaches.
Well, they play a specific brand of basketball that today's youth don't want to play.
Yeah.
Right? So the game of basketball completely just it outgrew them. They outgrew basketball. Yeah. The kids are younger. Yeah. And I like the Van Gundys as coaches. Just don't work. Yeah. They just don't work nowadays. And now you're right. They're better. They're very good analysts.
Yeah, they're better analysts than they are whatever.
I've heard some of them talking on the radio. Did we discuss this about Caleb? He is coming into the best situation ever that a rookie quarterback has ever come into.
Yeah, at least the rookie number one
history.
Pick, for sure.
Yeah, the history of the NFL. Yes. No number one pick at quarterback is coming into a better situation than
because usually the number one pick is going to a terrible team that needs a quarterback. Where the Bears were not necessarily terrible last year.
No, the team that needed that quarterback took their quarterback last year
and gave him the pick,
and that's what gave you all the pick.
I know. Yep. That is like the greatest moment in Chicago sports. It might be one of the greatest moments in Chicago sports history.
It could be up there. If this is successful. Oh my God, it's gonna look so bad. There'll be 30 for 30s on what happened to the Panthers
on that trade
because of that. If Bryce Young doesn't work out, and Caleb does, oh my God.
If Caleb is even like kind of as good as he kind of feels like he's gonna be, and I'm trying to be as like middle of the road as possible on this.
Yeah, do you want to
Bryce Young has got to be great. If Bryce Young isn't great, then like I feel bad for the kid because he's going to be compared to that forever now. C.J. Stroud and Caleb Williams.
C.J. Stroud is who he's definitely compared to. And C.J. Stroud winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, being a Pro Bowler, taking his team to the playoffs doesn't bode well for him.
So what I need is Caleb to be really good. Not just as a Bears fan, but I need that to happen because then, you know what happens? No more of the, the Bears could have drafted Patrick Mahomes in 2017, but they took Mitch Trubisky every time the Chiefs come to town. It's going to be the Panthers. I feel bad for every Panthers fan because this is what it's going to be. Remember where the Panthers gave up all those draft picks and they could have had Caleb? That's what it's going to be every year.
They'll go down the line and look at because it happened with the Giants when we traded all those picks to get Eli Manning. It wasn't until Eli won a championship to where they had to stop doing that.
Yeah.
Right? They were like, well, they'd lost this pick. This pick turned out to be Sean Marion, who's an all-pro.
Yep.
This pick turned out to be this person. You're like, okay, I'm done hearing that. And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be like, well, this pick turned out to be Caleb Williams. And then this pick turned out to be Montez Sweat. And then this pick turned out to like, oh, my God.
Yeah. It's really tough. And it's what's going to be. If Caleb is like just pretty good, it's going to put him in like the upper echelon of Bears quarterbacks, right? They're going to be successful because they have a good team built around him. So he's just going to be pretty good and they'll be successful. Right? And it's going to be the Panthers that are just going to eat that shit for the rest of their lives until they do something to change it. And that their current trajectory is never going to happen with their ownership.
Thank you. I'm glad that you said that because it's definitely their ownership. Their ownership is 100% the problem. He just bought the team 5 years ago. He's not an owner that's been around for a long time. So maybe he'll get out of his own way.
He hasn't yet.
But it didn't happen with Dan Snyder.
This is the dude that saw a sign at a restaurant that made fun of him, pulled over and went into the restaurant to yell at the owner. Right? Yes. This is the guy that throws drinks.
Who also throws stuff at fans.
At games. Right? Like he's
you would think that's the actions of a 28-year-old rich kid.
Yeah, and
that's the actions of a spoiled brat. He's too old for this. You can't wait for him to mature. It's old as dirt.
He's a spreadsheet billionaire, right? He made all of his money with stock market pushes and shorts and stuff like that. That's how he made all of his cash. He makes all of his money. He's one of the richest owners in sports, and he thinks he can just do that. So I really hate Bill Maher. He's like one of my least favorite humans on the face of the earth.
I used to like him.
I did too. And then there's just a point where it's like, same thing with like Dennis Miller. Remember when Dennis Miller was funny and then all of a sudden like 9/11 happened and then he turned into crazy right-wing guy? Right? So Bill Maher has his podcast where he has to have people on. They sit around, smoke cigars like Joe Rogan, and it's always comedians. And he had Bill Burr on. And Bill Burr put that dude in his place.
I love Burr.
Oh, God. When you get a chance, you got to look it up. He destroyed Maher. And they were talking about college campus war protests and Israel and all this other stuff, right? And Burr goes, what have you done? What have you done? You're like one of those fantasy football owners who thinks he's a GM. What have you done? You don't know. You haven't done anything. You don't like. And Bill Maher's like, wah, and I can watch this 3-minute segment on repeat for the rest of my life, and enjoy it every time I watch it. Right? It's just one of those things. I despise his smugness and like his better than
that's.
Just hate it so
I read
much.
a few more books than you, so I'm clearly smarter than you.
I have a TV show on HBO.
I've had smart guests on here who is over the last 25 years who I talk to occasionally.
And one agreed with me.
And they impart a little bit of knowledge to me, so I'm a little bit more worldly than you, but that's about it.
He's not even that. He's one of those people.
His comedy's not funny.
No. I don't know if it ever was.
I think yeah. I don't know. I used to watch when I was in my. Never mind. I'm not going to even say that because I'm not going to compare those two. Yeah, but
But yeah. So anyway, I think Tepper is Bill Maher in a lot of ways, but as an owner, right? Like I don't think he understands what needs to be done to build a football team, but he thinks he does because he made a lot of money guessing what companies were going to fail. And then, that's it.
Let me tell you something. Owning a professional sports team, it just makes money.
It should, yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
Exactly.
Right? You're going into a name of people who grew up in that area that support the team, even when they suck.
Yep.
You're entering our realm of fandom, right? The amount of fans that will support you even when your team sucks. Yep. I don't think there's ever been an owner who sold the team for less than he paid for.
Heavens no.
It doesn't happen. You don't have to do anything. Just sit on it. Let the other people, let the professionals do what they do, and you just do that. That's it. You just let it make money. Occasionally, make some appearances. You're the old lady who runs the Ford family.
We talk about the old lady that runs the Bears, or we talk about the old lady that Virginia McCaskey is 101 years old, and she's the Bears owner.
I'm saying she doesn't do anything. She just comes out occasionally, makes some. Hey guys, I'm still alive.
She's the daughter of George Halas. George Halas bought the Chicago Staleys for $100, and I'm not even joking. $100 in like 1910, right? Like he was the owner of the Bears until he died.
Even adjusted for the times. What he paid? Like $1,500.
I'm gonna tell you what. $1,000 adjusted for inflation, I can go buy the Bears if that was the cost, right? Like I can go to the ATM and buy the Bears right now. Like I got $600 on me. Hold on.
Exactly.
The Bears are worth like $5 or $6 billion, probably more, right?
Yeah.
No owner, like you said, no owner loses money. All he has to do, he doesn't have to involve himself in football operations because you have all the money in the world. You get the best people to do that job, and you let them do that job. And then you give them like 5-10 years, and if they failed at it, we try with somebody else, right? Like if you get the right guy to run your football team, they'll run the football team until they retire. Like you got to hope for like a Steelers sort of situation or a Ravens sort of situation, right? Like Ozzie Newsome ran the Browns/Ravens for all the way until he retired, and then he gave it to his successor. He said, "All right, now it's yours," and that guy will probably run it for 30 years, right? You hope for that. I don't know.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, look at the guy who now he's been owner. The Amir Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, he owns football clubs in overseas, I believe, too. So he's not just an owner, but that's all he does. Like he's the owner of the Jacksonville, and this is one of the newer owners that's come into the league, right? And that's the way you're supposed to do it, in my opinion. He's like, listen, guys, as long as you're making money, I won't move you. Don't just keep making money.
I'll sign the checks.
We're fine.
Please win some games and these are two young teams. They both came in the league at the same year in the 90s, right? Neither won a Super Bowl.
Both on their second owners, or I think now.
Yep, second or maybe probably second for both of them, right? And the situation is like you have a chance to like create that legacy that just hasn't happened. Like the Panthers, they had Cam and they had a Super Bowl run. They didn't win, so they have that legacy, but they don't have anything else beyond that, right?
But the Jags, when they had Tom Coughlin, had 2 AFC championship runs in the late 90s.
Both of those teams made the playoffs in their first year as expansion teams. I remember that very distinctly because it was so crazy.
To be honest, they have a very loyal fan base.
Yep.
Like I'm going to Jacksonville Jaguar games. My family has season tickets. The team, they're very loyal. They have fans, and the same goes for the Panthers.
Yep.
Right. Just let them do their thing. Let the people you pay do their thing, and your team will be better. Because it's not helping him cursing out owners who put signs up or
of local
throwing
businesses,
drinks.
Small business owners, right? Come on. If you run a bar and grill, you're required by law to put snarky things on your sign. That's what you do.
Yes. And the sign said something like, "Hey, Tepper, let your GM make the pick." That was
it. I don't even think it said Tepper by name. It just said, "Let the GMs make the picks this year," and that's all it said.
It wasn't even like, "Oh, Tepper, I seen what you was doing with that old lady." It wasn't like that.
It wasn't like the dog. It wasn't like the Wiener Circle in Chicago, or they didn't like put fuck David Tepper up there or anything like that. They just let the GM make the picks. That was it.
Just let the GM make the picks. That's all it said.
And he had to stop and go in there and harass the employees. Like, why? What is that?
Who put that down? I'm here. You say it to my face.
He
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna be out there fighting people?
he took that dude's head off, and he's lucky that dude didn't like throw a fist.
Sock him?
Yeah, like I mean, the moment you get touch somebody, like you don't know what somebody's gonna do. Like I don't care if you're a billionaire or not, right? You go into somebody's business
I
and you
don't
take their
know
head
you.
off. That guy he's lucky he didn't get a.
If I saw David Tepper, I wouldn't know him.
No, exactly.
I wouldn't know who he
Nope.
looks like. He is not that famous as an owner just yet to where I can pick him out of
He's
a
a
line.
portly bald guy, and I guarantee
There's a lot of portly bald guys.
there's a lot of like 40 to 50-year-old portly bald guys, portly white bald guys that have a sense of entitlement, right? There's a lot of them. I guarantee it. I live in a state that's like 90% that.
That's the demographic.
It is portly bald guys. Holy shit, yeah. Yes.
But yeah, no, I don't know. I would love to own a team. Like that's like a dream to own a team, and I don't know because I think I know baseball.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know whatever sport I know. Let's say I bought a baseball team. I'm like, yeah, I know baseball. Now that baseball's different for me because baseball, I would literally just hand it over to someone
There's
else.
too much going on. It's like you got all those farm teams and.
But let's say I owned a basketball team. I would be like, why can't we get this trade? I may start doing some of these things, right?
Yep.
Like I watched a few games. I know.
Start Jerry Jones in it.
This guy in the draft. I might. So as much as I'm saying this,
I understand.
As a fan, I think I would do the same thing a little bit.
I'm gonna tell you what. If I was the owner of a football team, I think I would let everybody do the job. I would just want to be there for all of the stuff. I kind of sit here. I just want to watch, right? Like, don't.
Who we picking the
Yeah, like I want the scoop. I want people to wonder if I'm the one leaking information, right? Like, did this come from the owner? Maybe. I think that's where I want.
Who are y'all picking? I don't know.
They won't tell me.
I'm interested in you figuring it out too. I tell them to surprise me every year. It's like Christmas again. Yeah. It's great.
God, see that's why but there, you're right. There's a part of me that would want to like Jerry Jones it and like be the guy that makes the call, right? Mm.
Like, do we have a chance at this pick? Can we get the number one pick? What does it take? Yay! Like, there's some things that I would probably be a little hands on.
Yeah,
right.
See, but then you'd be the guy that be hating you, McKenzie.
But I'd be
worst owner in football.
But I like to think I'd be I'd be a fun owner. Like I think that that the Mavs owner,
Cuban?
Mark Cuban. Except for sometimes he's too much of a fan yelling in other players' faces at games. I probably wouldn't go that far because as a fan, I know the boundaries of player and fandom that I wouldn't cross. So even as an owner and I pay for that seat, there's probably a level that I wouldn't do. But I like to think that he's a fun owner and I'd be him. Or I actually like what Steve Ballmer's doing with the Clippers. Yeah. I actually do like it. So
the thing about Cuban that I appreciate is he wants to know as much about the basketball and how it works. Just like on the court perspective. Like, do you ever see that clip where he just destroys Skip Bayless because Skip Bayless is like, will say things and then doesn't necessarily understand what he's saying or why he's saying things. Like, they did 1-on-1. And he's like, well, you know why they did this? Like, and listen to Mark Cuban, like, dismantle Skip Bayless and put him in his place. I enjoy stuff like that.
Yeah. The thing about Cuban is he's a business guy, right? He wants to know so much about it so he can figure out other business ventures that can make money with it. So he has to know it intently to figure out how he can intertwine something else into it to make real money. So I like that. It's a very intelligent way.
I think he's very shrewd with that sort of thing. Like his partnerships and how he figures out how to sell the Mavs. I mean, you can only do so much because you're still under the NBA umbrella, and the NBA does whatever they want, right?
But locally, he does a lot. The partnerships that he may have locally,
makes sense.
Like I watch some of his. I watch him on Shark Tank, and he's like, "Oh no, we're gonna get these." I remember he partnered up with a lady who makes Band-Aids of skin
Yes, I
colors
remember
with
that one.
different
Yeah.
skin colors. He was like, "Oh yeah, our players are definitely getting it."
Yeah.
He's like, "We're gonna have these in all of our kits. Like this is perfect
Yep.
for us." So,
There's I remember seeing one Shark Tank where it was so ridiculous. It was like pre-printed face paint masks for like sports things. Like it was like team wise, and you just put them on, so you didn't have to like do the paint, and it looked like he got it on that one too.
it probably looks weird. It probably looks weird. Like my wife puts on these masks at night for her
Yes.
face. I'm like, oh, God,
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. Like if you walk through
Yes,
with a
and I
knife,
imagine that sort of exactly. Looks like you took someone else's face off and tried to
which
put
is
it
like
on
the
your
worst,
face. That's
right?
what they look like.
Like, that look is so disturbing in general. Uh,
So I imagine that's what the pre-painted face looks like.
just in your team fandom, right? Uh, yeah. Oh crud. So I just
I did want to say
yes.
something. Like I was thinking about this the other
Mm-hmm.
day because all this whole talk they're starting to have rookie camps and things like that. And Kirk Cousins had to talk to the media basically about how he feels
Yes.
about about Penix being there, right? And I was thinking about this. And he said something out there. He's like, listen, as far as I know, as far as my whole career has been, the quarterback room has been a very positive room.
Yes.
A room where everyone here is trying to help the other
Yes.
person succeed. And sometimes that comes off as fake.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, when he said it, it didn't come off as fake to me because he hadn't been involved in one of the biggest rookie quarterback controversies that we've ever seen. Yep. And he dealt with that,
yep.
waited, did everything he did the correct way. And if he was truly trying to help RG3, that's why I think he doesn't see this as that big of a bad thing. He's already been through something like this. And now he was on the other end. He was the guy on the bench trying to start versus the starter waiting for this guy coming off. But I think he was actually genuine in his comments.
Kirk Cousins, and if he would have signed with the Falcons knowing their draft plan. I don't really deal in hypotheticals. We could go down that path for a long time in a lot of ways, and it just doesn't do us any good. And that comes across as hell no.
First of all, that's a dumb question to ask. That's a dumb. You're asking me would I have come to a team? I was a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
I could have signed with any team I wanted to. You're asking me would I have signed with the team that just drafted a first-round quarterback? I'd be an idiot.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I'm saying. That's a dumb question to ask. So he said we can play the hypotheticals all day, but
we know the answer, right? Like so, I know we talked about this before. It still blows my mind that the Falcons were willing to tamper with Kirk Cousins to get Kirk Cousins the moment he's available.
We don't know if he tampered.
It's going to come out. They're going to lose their first round pick next year. So they tampered to get Kirk Cousins to give him all that guaranteed money, and then to 3 weeks later draft a guy at number 8. It's just so stupid. I'm sorry.
It's not smart.
There's nothing.
It's not smart.
There's no situation that will make. And I don't even care if Kirk Cousins gets hurt and Penix comes in as great. It's still
they look smart.
It's hindsight smart. It's like, oh, see, if we didn't have Penix, this wouldn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
You shouldn't have signed. You
could
have spent the money elsewhere. You could have spent the money elsewhere.
Your team isn't 2 quarterbacks away from.
Yeah,
that's a dumb statement to say. Yeah. We're 2 quarterbacks away from winning the Super Bowl this year.
They have nothing on defense.
We just need 2.
They have the worst pass rush in football. They did not address any of that stuff. Like Danielle Hunter went to the Texans. They could have taken the Kirk Cousins money, thrown it at Danielle Hunter, and still have leftover money to go and get somebody else, another piece, right? Nah, They blew that. They blew that big time.
Like this. What's also not weird, but the part that doesn't make sense. There's nothing they can do with Kirk Cousins for at least 2 years. 3 years, when you think about it, he's $20 million or $25 million to the cap his 3rd year with a no trade clause. There is nothing they can do with Kirk Cousins. That's why Kirk Cousins is like, It is what it is, guys. Yep. You can pay me $50 million to sit here and do nothing.
Yep.
But you can't trade me.
Nope.
I'll buy the house in Atlanta because I'm good. I'll be here for at least 3 years.
Yep.
Like their out is they have an out after 2, but he's still 25 mil cap hit.
I think it's even more than that. I think it's 25 mil after 3. I think it's like 40 mil after 2. I gotta look now.
I thought it was after. I thought the potential out is after 2 years, but that potential out's a heavy out.
Yes, it is. Let's see. So my one trusted salary cap website, Spotrac, they added like a paywall for stuff. So if they cut him next year, he's a 57. Not next year. So this year, he's only a $25 million cap hit. Yeah, they put that on there so I can't see. Next year is a $40 million cap hit. 2026, he's a $57.5 million cap hit. He's okay. So he's 65 million dead cap, 25 million dead cap in 2026. So I guess you can cut him after 2025 and eat 25 million.
And eat 25 million you'd have to do.
Which is,
and that's the only thing they can do.
That's bad. That's still bad business. Why give him this deal? I don't understand why you give him that deal if you're going to take. There's no way between them signing Kirk Cousins on whatever day that was, March 6th or whatever, and April 20th. Like, there's no way they fell in love so much with Michael Penix Jr. in that time. That
I have no clue.
It just, oh God, I hate it so much. And it's such
as a GM, your job is to make the team better.
Mm-hmm.
But there's no way that you could make that pick without asking the owner.
Yeah.
The balls you would have to do to make that pick without consulting the owner. Some picks, I'm pretty sure 95% of the picks that you make, maybe 98%, you don't have to consult. It's my job to make this team better. That's a pick you have to consult with the owner.
Arthur Blank's the guy that likes to be involved too, though, right? So
yeah, you have to make that.
How do you even sell that to him? I know we just gave Kirk Cousins a ton of cash that came right out of your pocket because he was guaranteed $90 million at signing. He had to get a $90 million check from Arthur Blank the day he signed that thing, right? And then 3 weeks later, you draft a quarterback at 8. You're in the top 10, and you took a quarterback after committing to 4 years to another guy.
The only way you can sell that is by saying we have our quarterback for the next 6 to 8 years. That we should not be looking for a quarterback for 6 to 8 years. And if we're not looking for a quarterback for 6 to 8 years, we can focus. So we're looking at our team being competitive for those 6 to 8 years. That's the only way you sell that. Versus we got Kurt now. He may not be, we're only really tied to him for 3 years. And then we're doing this in another 3 years looking for another quarterback. So we're at one of these times, we're going to have to draft a quarterback.
Yep.
That's the only way you can sell it. At one of these times, we're going to have to draft a quarterback. Do we think that Michael Penix is the guy we draft now and we take all of the heat that comes with it? Because you got to be looking in college and seeing, well, is he better than what's potentially out there next year? The year after that? Because they got to do it in the next 2 years. They have to. Yep. So that's the only way you can sell it to me. That's the only way. That's how I would sell it.
If I hear that, I'm like, no. Like, you just committed to 4 years to Kirk Cousins, right? Who Kirk Cousins has been a good to very good quarterback, Pro Bowler.
Right.
He is very successful. Has not had postseason success, but he's had success. He's been a very successful quarterback. Yes. They have a strong offensive skill unit, supposedly, right? They have Drake London. They signed Darnell Mooney.
Yet to be seen.
They got Kyle Pitts. They got Bijan Robinson. They got Tyler Algier. They have a decent enough offensive line. They have a thin defensive front seven.
It's not horrible, but it's thin. You're right.
So like, if you dedicate all that money and commitment to Kirk Cousins, so let's take two other teams as example, as the ends of the spectrum. The Jets getting Aaron Rodgers. That's one end of the spectrum where it blew up in their face for the first year. We'll see what happens the second year. Hopefully it blows up in their face again. And then you have Tampa Bay on the other end of the spectrum, who gets Tom Brady in the last 2 years of his career. They win a stinking Super Bowl, right? And then he leaves, and then they take a flight. They still have a good team, so they take a flyer on another. There's always veteran quarterbacks available. Always. Right. So they take a flyer on Baker Mayfield, and because they have a solid team already, he just comes in and he's good, right?
The thing about Baker that's different is he's still under 30.
Yes.
Like, it's easier to take a flyer on that guy who the situation may not have benefited. Baker still we were still looking at his potential versus chucking a flyer on a veteran that's late in his career that you're only going to get for 3 years. Baker's smart because literally you can still have him for another 8 years if cards played right.
How'd it work for the Rams trading for Matt Stafford?
They did everything that they needed to do.
And they won a damn Super Bowl.
They got what they wanted,
right?
though.
That's the same spectrum, right? We have a solid team. We need another quarterback. They traded a young quarterback for an older quarterback, and they got the difference they need, right? Like, the opportunity tends to be there, right? Whether you want to believe it or not. Like, it just happens to be there. Like, of all the quarterbacks that are under contract right now, one of them is going to be available, and they're guys that we think are good. Like, I'm willing to go out on a limb to say that one of these following people will be available in 4 years. I don't know which one.
That's easy. I think, yeah.
So
think you're right.
Joe Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Josh Allen, what's his face in Philadelphia? What's his name? Jalen Hurts. Jared Goff. They just got a deal, but you never know. Like these are names that are good quarterbacks now.
That you think it would be
there's a chance. I'm not saying they're all going to be, but I guarantee one of them. Tua Tagovailoa, Kyler Murray,
going to be available.
Yes. Yeah. Who else? I think there's only a few that like. I think even Josh Allen is probably like an untouchable unless he just deteriorates. But like I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be in Kansas City until he dies.
Until
I think Lamar Jackson's going to be in Baltimore until he dies. He just got that huge extension. Like I don't see them getting rid of him. Like he'd have to get hurt, right, and just not be a viable option anymore. I think Josh Allen's the same way in Buffalo, but like,
Herbert.
The
only one out of the list I could see. Trevor Lawrence for sure.
I think
I can see Trevor Lawrence. I can see them signing Trevor Lawrence to a nice deal and him not living up to the contract. And in 2 years, or whatever out that they have for him, they take it after the potential out, and he's now looking for another.
Think
job.
6 years ago, and if I would have said, in 4 years, Russell Wilson won't be on the Seahawks. He'll be sucked in somewhere else. And this is like right after they went to the Super Bowl. Like, would you have gone, oh yeah, for sure, right? Like, it just happens. It happens. Like,
but even let's go back of the 6 years, how many have actually been available? Well,
there's a lot of guys that change.
You definitely have Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins?
Twice he's been available. He was available for Washington.
Yeah. After he was really good in Washington too.
After he's really good. Russ, Aaron Rodgers,
Stafford,
Deshaun Watson. I know you don't want to say, but Deshaun Watson was one of those guys 6 years ago. You would have
his
said,
rookie year. You're like, he's going to be a Texan until he retires, right? And
correct.
And that was right after they gave him an extension, and they're like, well, we gotta get rid of this guy, right? Like he didn't want to be there anymore. They didn't want him anymore. They knew it was coming because they embedded and enabled it. And whatever. So they were part of that whole thing. But like there's guys that are available.
Also Baker Mayfield would have been in that group too 6 years ago.
Number one pick. Yeah, he took the Browns to the damn playoffs. He's going to be there forever.
Yeah. You're right. This 6 years, there'll be someone that we just didn't see is available in free agency.
So 3-4 years from now,
Dak Prescott could be available.
Who?
Dak Prescott could be available next year.
Exactly. Right? There are guys, and there are rookies that are right now getting drafted that are going to be available in 3 or 4 years.
Most definitely.
Right? It's just, and one of them might be Michael Penix Jr. Right? To take
no
to take a such
before he even gets a seat.
You don't even know.
Before you get to see,
you don't know.
Because in 3 years, it may be his first time.
I know.
Actually getting on the field.
What if he just doesn't pan out? What if they have him in practice and they just like, yeah, he'll probably get a few shots. Kirk Cousins will pull a hammy or something, and he has to go out there.
They have time,
right?
It's the same thing that we saw with Jordan Love. They have time on their hands, on their side.
For
they
sure.
have time.
It's that's another guy that
and I think Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is the reason why they felt comfortable doing that move, because I still don't understand why Jordan Love did, instead of taking a 5th-year option, did that weird 2-year deal that was not equal to
a 5th-year option.
The option.
Well, they were going to give him a 5th-year option. I don't think they were going to offer it to him, so they gave him up with that extension.
But they had no choice though. Like they put themselves in a pretty bind by everything that they did. So I don't think they had an option. Really, they had to.
I'm gonna be real honest.
But you got to announce your 5th-year option.
And this is gonna be a little bit of Packer hate. I'm gonna be real honest. Mm-hmm. So going into last season, they were very much temper your expectations with Jordan Love. He's never been a starter. They did all that stuff, right?
Yep.
And there were elements of last year where he was not good. Not good at all.
Right. Early on in the season.
But there was a nice 5-game stretch there at the end of the year where you're like, man, why is he so good? He shouldn't be this good. He doesn't throw on the ground. He's always in the air. Like, there's things like, and I'm going to tell you what, put him in that might be available in 5 years club too. There's a lot of guys that we don't see as available now, but are options in 4 years, right? That a quarterback hungry team that can't pick a guy because they've been good might be able to have a good team, bring in somebody else, and still maintain success. And that's where I believe the Falcons could have been. They could have beefed up their defense and been very good for the next 2-3 years with Kirk Cousins, unless Kirk Cousins is hurt, and then that's like any other situation, right? Unless you're the Browns and they went through like 5 quarterbacks last year and got lucky. Very lucky.
It's interesting. That's why I get, once again, we just had this whole conversation. I hate drafting quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. I hate it. You should just not do it. Just don't do it. Just don't do that.
Only if you're in that situation. You got the one. Unless the Falcons, who have misjudged their first-round draft picks dramatically, very consistently with their current regime, feel that Penix is a good pick at 8. What's that?
Bijan was a good pick at 8 or 9 or whatever.
They overdrafted Bijan.
They just had Tyler Algier.
Tyler Algier ran for 1,300 yards the previous year, and he was a rookie.
Yeah, well, Bijan would have had their coach decided that he was an actual weapon that they could use.
Let's see, Tyler Algier stats. I'm sorry, he did not 1,300, but 1,335 yards. But they was also splitting time with Cordarrelle Patterson in the backfield.
Cordarrelle Patterson, yep.
Like I get that Bijan Robinson is a super strong talent, but he had a 23.
And he wasn't a top 5 pick. He was like 8 or 9, I think.
Yep.
was his pick.
But
so I don't think it's a bad pick.
You had a 22-year-old kid the previous year in his rookie year, averaging 5 yards an attempt out of the backfield.
Yeah, so he once again, it's the same situation. Not quite a position of need. You drafted him in the high in the first round.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Yep.
May not be smart.
Kyle Pitts, a tight end at number 4. That's a tough pick.
That's looking bad.
Drake London.
Drake London.
Yeah, he might still turn out to be okay, but could be a big whiff on that one.
They had Calvin Ridley in there that turned out to just be bad because of his gambling.
Yeah. Well,
Didn't get much play. He's on his third team already in such a young career, in my opinion.
yep. Let's see.
Like,
Let's see. Atlanta Falcons first round picks, because now I'm curious. Here's a list of them. I don't want to go back to 1966. I want the recent ones. Penix at 8.
yes.
This is a funny list to look at. Penix at 8. Bijan at 8. Drake London at 8. Kyle Pitts at 4. AJ Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson at 16.
16 is low enough to where he may not be great. Even though all first rounders should be starters.
Caleb McGarry at 31, offensive tackle.
I've never heard that name.
Offensive tackle.
Oh, that was the year. That was the bad. What's the year?
Yeah.
Super Bowl year.
Chris Lindstrom, 14th. He's an offensive guard out of Boston College. Calvin Ridley, the 26th pick. Look at this. They were picking 17, 26, 26, 14, 31, 16. So they were good to very good for 6.
But that's Matt Ryan. Yep. And then they told Matt Ryan to kick rocks. And then after that, not so good.
Now, Matt Ryan was there all the way through 2022, though, wasn't he? Because then at 2021, and then 2022, he was on the Colts.
Yeah, because...
And then he retired. And 2023 was last year. Yeah, he was in the booth last year. Yeah, I mean, they had a good team. They had a good quarterback, right? They just couldn't replace him. And they're like, oh, see, we didn't have a solution for when. What's your own fault, right? Like there were options.
That's hard, right? Because you look at the player and you're like, you look at his age, you go, he's got good years. But sometimes the fall off happens so fast.
Yeah.
Like, you think you have a year or two left, and you don't.
Yep, that's true.
The fall off just happens too quickly. And I think with him, I'm not going to say the fall off happened super fast. It's just because I think they let him go a little too early. I think his contract ended around the time when they didn't want to invest any more money into him. And that's what really caused that split early. The Knicks are up 26 with 2 minutes to go in the game.
That. So Matt Ryan had 10. This is why I think he's a Hall of Famer. Matt Ryan had 10 straight seasons of 4,000 or more yards. In those 10 straight seasons, he had 20 or more touchdowns. In those 10 straight seasons, yeah.
He's got MVP. He's got an MVP award.
MVP in there. And he was also the Offensive Player of the Year that year, too. He was MVP and Offensive Player of the Year. He threw 4,900 yards, 38 touchdowns, 7 picks. Great season, right? On 70% completion, right? Great year. Even his last year in Atlanta, he threw for 3,968.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think he had a fall. I think it was contract situation meets, do we want to invest any more money in him long term?
Yeah. And
that's also pretty bad because that means you would have seen that coming. Yes. Like, you would have seen a contract situation coming. And you should have prepared adequately for that. And not only did they not prepare adequately, they had no answer for his replacement. The people that they had to try to replace him were horrible. First, they tried, what's the dude that used to play for Oregon? He got drafted by 10. Was it tight? Mariota. That did.
He was Heisman.
Yes, that didn't work. Then whoever they had this year, those 2-3 guys, it was bad.
Desmond Ridder and I don't remember who else.
I don't even remember.
Heineke and
I thought Heineke was in that group.
Yeah. So in 2022, this is 2022. That was the year they needed to replace Matt Ryan. Ben Roethlisberger was a free agent. He retired. Jameis Winston was a free agent, signed with the Saints. Bridgewater was a free agent, signed with the Broncos. Marcus Mariota signed with the Falcons, 2 years, $18.75. Mitch Trubisky signed with the Steelers. Jacoby Brissett signed with the Browns. Ryan Fitzpatrick retired. Geno Smith re-signed with the Seahawks. Now we're in the dregs. Kyle Allen, Colt McCoy, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles. Both of those signed with the Bears. Oh, no, they were on the Bears. They signed with the Saints and the Colts, respectively. Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, right? Not a whole lot going on there. So there weren't a whole lot of free agents available at that time. But, I mean, they could have ran with one of them, but didn't. They drafted what's-his-face that year, Desmond Ridder, and he ended up being really bad.
Yeah. It feels like my team and a bunch of other teams, 95% of the NFL does not hit on a quarterback past the third round.
Yep. Well, 99%. Yeah. It just doesn't happen that very, very often.
Well, it's happened twice in the last time to the Cowboys.
Yes.
Like, back-to-back quarterbacks.
That's true.
Like, I don't get it. Like, Jalen Hurts was a second-round pick.
Yes, Jalen Hurts was the top of the second
round.
round.
He's top of the
Geno was the third round. Not Geno. Russ was a third-round pick. Dak was a fourth-round pick.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say, who was the guy before Dak? What's his face?
Quincy Carter?
I don't know.
Romo.
Romo was an unsigned free agent, wasn't he? He was undrafted,
yep.
Right? So
undrafted.
So the Cowboys have hit more than the average team, that's for sure, on getting Pro Bowl starting quarterbacks.
Yes.
Outside of the top 100 picks. Yeah. It does not happen very often.
No, and like I said, I swear my team fails at it more than I don't know. I just feel
You're talking to a Bears fan, my friend. The Bears have been one of the worst quarterback drafting teams in the history of quarterback drafting teams, right? Until this year.
What's actually funny to me is that you look at I'm going to say the Packers.
Mm-hmm.
Their backups go on to do things in the league that other people don't get to do.
Yeah.
Was Matt Flynn one of their backups?
Yeah.
Right?
So remember Matt Flynn, he came in and he had like 3 games when Favre was hurt or something like that.
Yep.
And they're like, oh.
Favre had some really good backups in there. I think that one of the Hasselbecks.
Yep.
Tim Hasselbeck.
Went to Seattle, yeah. So hold on.
Yeah, they had some.
Matt Flynn contract, because the Seahawks gave him, it was 3 years, $19.5 million, but this was in
a while ago. That's backup money now.
Yeah, but that at the time
still backup money then.
When was that? 3 years. That was 2012. So it's 12 years ago. And then, that's the same year they drafted Russ in the 4th round, and then Russ beat him out as a starter in training camp.
Yeah, he definitely did.
Right? I mean, they hit on Russ. I mean, like that's a rarity though, right? That just doesn't happen a whole lot. But they gave a guy starter money, and then they drafted a guy in the 4th, assuming he'd be like a developmental project, and they ended up being a starter.
And then
right. That's tough. The Flynn reminds me a lot of who are the 2 guys that came from New England that filled in for Brady? Matt Castle and who was the other one?
Garoppolo,
right? But I thought there was one more, wasn't there?
I only remember Matt Castle. And
yeah,
Garoppolo.
Matt Castle got all that money.
Matt
to go
Castle
to Kansas City.
But he played 1 year.
Yes,
that was the year that Brady
and they still won 14 games, right?
Yes. No, there was it. I think there was 11
12 games
that didn't make the playoffs. That didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. So they won 12 games, missed the playoffs. He got a big contract. Or did they trade him? I can't remember. And then
they usually trade them. They usually get something for him.
I thought there was one more though. It feels like there was one more in there. I'm looking at the list of. Oh, this is gonna be a depressing list of New England starting quarterbacks. Last year, Mac Jones, Bailey Zappi, Brian Hoyer, Mac Jones, Cam Newton, Brian Hoyer. Then you had Tom Brady, Jacoby Brissett, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady for a big chunk.
Jacoby Brissett actually had I don't think he got a big contract. They traded him, I think, though. He was wasn't he a backup at first with them? He wound up coming back to that team. I think,
he's on the team right now, yeah. I guess it was just Matt Castle because Matt Castle played 15 games.
That was the
And then
season.
before that, Tom Brady started all 16 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 years. Then it was Tom Brady, Drew Bledsoe. I really thought there was one more in there, but I guess not. I guess it was Garoppolo, and then Castle. Man. And Garoppolo, when did he wasn't? They didn't like draft him in like the first round.
No, like I said, these teams is all of a sudden hit on these players deep in the draft. In my play, I get Ryan Nassib.
They did take him in the second round though. They took Garoppolo in the second round.
Okay, that's it.
And he's from Eastern Illinois too. I didn't realize that. Didn't know he's an Illinois guy. So Garoppolo they drafted in the second round, and they would have drafted him in like what year was that? 2014. 2014.
Let's point out those years. There's probably might as well have been a third round pick as far as back as they was probably
and it was
probably coming off of a Super Bowl year.
And it was probably like, the Patriots are drafting a quarterback. They're waiting for Tom Brady.
I never heard them say that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's played 6 more years after that.
I never heard them say that.
No, they did.
Oh,
Jacoby Brissett was a third round pick number 91. I don't know.
Again, like I said, I don't know why Ryan Nassib's the one that sticks in my head as because I remember we drafted him in the third round. I was like, okay, we got a decent backup, and he was playing behind Eli. You just never got in the game. If Eli, you never got in the game.
So there was somebody tweeted. It's one of those like newer like I want to be a Bears analyst Twitter accounts, and it was like
the ones you love.
It was said something like, "Who is the worst starting quarterback in Bears history?" I'll go first. Rex Grossman. I was like, "You are new to the Bears, my friend. You are new to the Bears." Because
go
ahead.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I don't know who I'd say if I as a Giants fan.
Let's just think about all your years of fandom. Let's see.
Yes, there were some bad ones in there.
New York
Giants. I believe Dave Campbell was in there.
Oh, maybe.
We also had Jason Garrett started a few games, I think.
All right. So what was your year of starting fandom for the Giants?
I'd say in the 90s, right around when Strahan got drafted.
So I don't know what year that would be.
It's probably like 92 or 93. Okay. And it's a string of really bad quarterbacks up until we get Kerry Collins. It's like a string of bad
All right. So we'll start in 92. Hostetler, Sims, Graham. You still had Phil Simms as your starting quarterback in 92. Phil Simms in 93, all 16 games. 94, Dave Brown and
Dave Brown, that's the one I was thinking
Kent
about.
Graham. Dave Brown was a starting quarterback for 3 seasons. You could put Dave Brown in the lineup, and I could not pick him out of it.
It was that good.
He doesn't even have a picture on Wikipedia. That's how.
Meaning he didn't even take team photos. He started 3 years.
Then you have the Danny Cannell era.
Yeah, Danny Cannell.
With some Kent Graham in there as well. And then Kent Graham and Kerry Collins next year. And then you had
Kerry Collins starts the good years.
Then you had Kerry Collins for 4 straight years.
Then we had Kurt
Warner, Eli. And then you just had Eli. Till Daniel Jones, right? I mean, that's it.
Yep. Geno Smith took one of his starts, and then Daniel Jones. Yep.
You're right. Yeah, 2017, Geno Smith.
Man.
So, and then the rest, since then, it's been Daniel Jones and Colt McCoy, Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon. Ooh, I forgot about him. Jake Fromm.
Oh, long neck.
Davis Webb. Awesome. Tommy DeVito.
Davis Webb's another guy who drafted. It's like, come on, Webb.
So I'm going to say you've been fortunate because you had such a long stretch of Eli Manning.
Yes.
So fortunate.
Yes, I've been. And before Eli, Kurt Warner and Kerry Collins. Yes. Kerry Collins took us to a Super Bowl.
You've had
and Kurt was only there for half a year. He wasn't even there. He only played 6 games before they benched him for Eli. But he was there.
Now you need to buckle up because I've been a Bears fan since 1983. Right, I'm older than you. So 83, I had Jim McMahon. Great. 84, Jim McMahon, and then Jim McMahon, Steve Fuller, Rusty Litch, Bob Avellini, Greg Landry. 85 Super
Some of
Bowl
these
was
names
Jim
is the first time I'm ever hearing these.
Jim McMahon,
Their
Steve Fuller.
names.
The next year, Jim McMahon gets hurt, and then Mike Tomczak, undrafted free agent. Steve Fuller, Doug Flutie. Then Jim McMahon comes back, Mike Tomczak, Jim McMahon, Mike Tomczak, Jim Harbaugh. Then we have Mike Tomczak, Jim Harbaugh, Mike Tomczak, Jim Harbaugh, with a couple of fill-ins, Peter Tom Willis, Will Fuhrer. Then we have the Steve Walsh year, because Eric Kramer they signed and he got hurt, and then Steve Walsh, they actually won his playoff game with Steve Walsh. Then Eric Kramer, then Dave Craig and Eric Kramer, then Eric Kramer and Rick Mirer. Do you remember Rick Mirer? He was a bust. They gave up the first-round draft pick to trade for Rick Mirer. He only started 3 games for him. He's absolutely...
Didn't he go to the Detroit Lions and play? I think I know him as the Detroit Lions.
He was drafted by Seattle. He was the number 2 pick.
Seattle. Yes, the jerseys.
He was the number 2 pick in the 93 draft behind Drew Bledsoe. When Drew Bledsoe, Rick Mirer in that draft. So Rick Mirer, yes, good for him. The Bears gave up first round pick.
Mr. I just get benched everywhere I go to a young guy.
Then we had Eric Kramer, Steve Stenstrom, Moses Moreno, Shane Matthews, Cade McNown, Jim Miller. Cade McNown, Shane Matthews, Jim Miller. Jim Miller, Shane Matthews, Jim Miller, Chris Chandler, Henry Burris. Cordell Stewart was a Bear, if you didn't know that. Chris Chandler, Rex Grossman. Craig Krenzel, Chad Hutchinson.
Chris Chandler, I remember him for the Falcons. I got him in a black and red helmet outfit.
He played 17 seasons, Chris Chandler did. For the Colts, the Bucks, the Cardinals, the Rams, the Oilers, the Falcons, the Bears, and the Rams.
Yeah, it was Arizona. That's the jersey I had in my head.
Craig Kensel, Chad Hutchinson, Jonathan Quinn, Rex Grossman.
Chad Hutchinson wasn't bad.
Kyle Orton, Rex Grossman, Brian Greasy, Kyle Orton, Rex Grossman, Jay Cutler. Then we had the Jay Cutler years. Jay Cutler, Todd Collins. Jay Cutler, Caleb Haney, Josh McNown. Jay Cutler, Jason Campbell. Jay Cutler, Josh McNown. Jay Cutler, Jimmy Clausen, Pickles. Jay Cutler, Jimmy Clausen, Pickles again. Matt Barkley, Jay Cutler, Brian Hoyer. Then we have the Trubisky era. Trubisky, Glennon, Trubisky, Chase Daniel, Trubisky, Nick Foles. And then we have the Justin Fields era. Justin Fields, Andy Dalton, Nick Foles. Justin Fields, Trevor Siemian, Nathan Peterman. Justin Fields, Tyson Bagent. Now, of all those starters, Rex Grossman is not the worst of them all. Rex Grossman might be a top 10.
He's just a guy. He's just a guy. Like,
I mean, it is honestly Cutler, McMahon,
Cordell Stewart, right? Yeah.
Cutler, McMahon, Trubisky, Fields, Grossman. Ooh. Like, it's not a good list for your number ones. There's been a lot of negative Fields press that's come out this last week, too. I don't know if you've seen any of that. For Justin Fields.
Fields? Yes, I have. Yes. Yeah. So some unknown person said it was just hard to watch.
His name is Gook Metzi or Letzi. It's Luke Getzky. Luke Getz, the former offensive coordinator, trying to save face, going by a pseudonym. Gook is probably not a good pseudonym. I was just trying to flip the letters, but he is who he is, trying to save face. And yeah, like, I'm gonna be real honest. Justin Fields has never appeared to me as a friendly human being. He seems like he's an intense human being that probably falls somewhere on a spectrum that we all fall on to some extent, but he probably has a hard time with interpersonal relationships, right? It just seems like that. He always seems like a hard-nosed person, sits, thinks, processes. He doesn't smile a ton. I don't know. Like, it's easy to talk shit about guys that aren't on the team anymore. And especially
that's what I didn't like.
Especially from 3 years ago when nobody's on the team anymore. None of the people involved. Like, there's nobody on the team from 3 years ago. Like, very few people are still on the team from 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. It's like a whole new roster, new coaching staff. The only difference is Luke Getzey is no longer there. But Luke Getzey wasn't there in 21, so it was probably It was probably some, it's just like, I get it. You got to talk shit. Got to save face. Got to make yourself look better. And then when Justin Fields if he has trouble in Pittsburgh, they're like, see, there it is. He's always been a problem child that nobody mentioned prior to this, right? So, I don't know.
No. That the field stuff, man. It doesn't seem to be working out. I don't know. You said was it you? Someone talk about. I can see him starting in Pittsburgh. I can't see that happening.
I don't know. I mean, it just depends on how you play. If he plays good, then
you got to play though.
I know.
They don't seem to be wanting to give him the reps. It's not a competition.
Well, they're not even there. Training camp hasn't even started yet. We're not even. I mean, you got to pacify Russ, right? Because Russ signed there with the promise of being the starter. And then when Kenny Pickett threw his baby fit and they said, fine, we'll get rid of you, then they had an opening for a backup, and they're like, might as well bring in Justin Fields because we don't have to give up anything to get him. Because they gave up such a minimal amount to get him. Right? So it may be Fields. Like, I want the guy to succeed, but like...
They got him practicing punt returns, which is the dumbest thing.
Yeah, I'm sure that was just said in jest. But who knows? I don't know. Just a lot of bad press about him, which is stupid. I hate the nobody that's affiliated with this news is even relevant to the Bears anymore. So let me shit some Bears news.
But there are a contingents that never like.
Oh, for sure, yes.
Right. So for them, that's what that article's to.
Oh, those people are like
it's written for those people.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find.
Told you.
I gotta find the guy because, like, the guy wrote some stuff and. I've never heard of him before, but apparently he's got a reputation for being a bit of a troll pot stirrer type. But what he wrote was from an unknown source, right? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm. Like they always are.
But an unnamed source or whatever. But the stuff was all right. I mean, it seems like a thing, right? It wasn't like something that was like, well, that seems outrageous. But people were really upset about it and trying to defend Justin Fields' honor, which made no sense to me. I gotta find the quote. I can't remember. I gotta find it because it was a statement that was just like, oh yeah, Justin Fields. Let's see, eyes. Let me find it. Watch his eyes. He tries to see the whole thing and doesn't see anything. His eyes are all over the place, and it's just really hard to watch. It's just bad football. From a former coach. Former unnamed coach. That, I think, is Luke Getsy.
Watch his eyes. He's all over the place.
Tyler, Tyler Dunne. Dunne. Former Milwaukee Journal, Sentinel, Buffalo Bills News, and Bleacher Report. Let me find it. Fields. Oh, come on, I gotta keep scrolling down. I hate because he posts and he generates so much content. There's I don't know how you could do this much digging and have this much content. Like how can it be this sourced, right? He does post a lot of Bears stuff, though, so I can't tell if he's a troll or not. Because he's from...
But he's from Wisconsin. Yes. He was a beat writer for the Bills. Yeah. Right? He's got no connection to the Bears, does he?
No. The Justin Fields era failed for many reasons in Chicago. Lame duck regime drafted him. Toxic as hell quarterback room. I guess him and Foles didn't get along. Leadership quirks... But number one was processing. He'd be a great single wing quarterback if that was still around. Steelers' scheme should help, totally different. But watch his eyes. From one of Fields' former Chicago coaches. Watch his eyes. He tries to see the whole thing and doesn't see anything. His eyes are all over the place, and it's just really hard to watch. It's just bad football. But man, the level of people that were out to defend Justin Fields for this, it's why? It doesn't matter. He's not a Bears quarterback anymore.
So what I'm hearing sounds like bad coaching.
Yes, that's what I thought too.
That's what it sounds like to me. It's your job to teach that out of him, right? If you are his coach, that's an indictment on you, not on him.
Multiple
people have problems with doing
Yeah.
something. You are the coach. You have to help him with those problems. That's your job. I think I heard Mike Tomlin said, he said, I love it when coaches try to get out of coaching. Like coaches go, that guy's uncoachable. He's like, no, 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 no. It's your job to coach him, right?
Can't
You're
win with him.
saying that this guy's uncoachable. He's uncoachable is basically you saying, I don't want to do my
Yes.
job. Right? Like that's he said. So I I don't know. He probably will do a whole lot better
I hope so.
in Pittsburgh. It has nothing to do with the skills that he possesses. It has everything to do with the way he's being coached and taught.
He's an athletic freak with a cannon for an arm, who I who
Yes.
who I feel was coached into oblivion. Like there's one of those things like and like so I'm going back to it, right? Like the way he hears and processes and interacts with people, sometimes people just don't respond the way you think they should to how you're saying. Now, Luke Getzey might be one of the greatest offensive minds on the face of the earth, but he could not communicate to Justin Fields.
Convey his message.
He could not get Justin Fields to understand and process the way he wanted him to. And if you watch Justin Fields he was not good his rookie year, he was better his second year, and regressed his third year. You just see it, you just see like the throws. You see him, he wants to throw and doesn't. And the things that he would have done his rookie year and where he was tried to sling a ball in, he just held the ball until he was sacked into oblivion, right? So it's just what it is. I hope he finds his home, his forever home in in Pittsburgh.
This is how I look at it. Like if someone has a problem with the game being too fast,
Yeah.
right? Which can happen. I've been in games where we've played for a championship, things like that, and the moment has gotten too big for us, right? We're playing too fast. We're overthinking things. As a coach, you can bring them down, or you can say something and it doesn't help at all. It literally makes the game go faster, makes us think. It takes like there's ways to slow the game down from a coaching perspective. Hey, give him easy throws. Take this throw off the flats. Hey, for this route, you'll need to look at the side of it. Like, make it easier for him. Like
I never felt like the Bears, and particularly that first year, his rookie year, he was thrown to the Sharks, and he probably didn't need to be out there, but everybody wanted him out there, so they put him out there, and he just got clobbered. His second and third year, I never felt like the scheme made anything easy for him. Personnel didn't help either his second year, right? His throwing motion is kind of long and slow sometimes, and the short stuff he always had troubles with. But throwing the ball hard and in spots and accurate was never really an issue. It was the short stuff, the short game in the middle of the field, and to me that's coaching, right? Like if he can't get the middle of the field, find a way to make it so he can get the middle of the field, right? Like create a scheme that helps him instead of trying to make a scheme and try to force him into it. All right, I'm going to end with this because I'm still riding the high of the Bears
of the draft.
So here is just a little.
I don't want to see any passes to Roma Dunze.
Roma Dunze's got a hammy, so you're not going to see that right now. But usually when you get Bears highlights, it's clips, right? Here is 26 seconds straight of Caleb Williams with short, fast arm motion throwing to everybody. Here he goes.
Just do it now.
DJ Moore, right? Oh, wait, here comes next. It's Velus Jones Jr. Who? Velus Jones Jr. And then, who's this? Oh, look at this arm. It's quick. Right to Tyler Scott. Right on the money. And then who we got knocked? Oh, that's right. It's the beard himself, Keenan Allen. Like, the guy just has a quick release, and I love it so much. And he's going to be good.
I know you're going to end it on this. I saw a video of the Panthers practice, and they were showing their wide receivers, and they were going through practice, but they couldn't practice. It looked horrible. Every pass was being thrown was behind them. And I was like, is that Bryce Young throwing those
No,
passes?
because
It looked
it's
bad.
it's rookie, right? It's the rookie camps, right? So this is after
Yeah,
the rookie
but I
camp.
didn't know who was throwing those
Okay,
passes.
so
They were so bad.
there's one I have to show you because I know it's gonna pop up on here. Oh, come on, come on. Oh, is the post unavailable? It was everyone's favorite rookie quarterback throwing the football, and I know it's just like one
Penix?
clip. Oh, I gotta find it. Come on, where is it? There's no way people made. There's no way it's off of Twitter. There's just no way. Come on. I gotta find it. I gotta find it. Where are you? I can't. Ah,
Now safe to search the internet today.
why?
Knicks have won. The Knicks have
Okay.
won. So now I don't have to.
They didn't
hear
just win.
all
They won by
the-
a lot.
They won by a lot after losing by almost 40.
Yes.
So can't come home, get a little home cooking. Everything is good and we got a little break.
Oh man, like I cannot find the video now, and it is literally of everyone's favorite rookie quarterback just having difficulty throwing the ball 10 yards.
The Bo Knicks?
No. Think of who your favorite rookie quarterback is.
Ricky Coleman. I see. See, now that my team has no chance of getting him, I forgot his name. JJ McCarthy.
McCarthy.
JJ.
They show him he's a rookie quarterback. There's just a coach standing there. He drops back, he throws it, and like the coach has to like jump to the left to catch it. It's like 10 yards. Like I could make that throw. And I know it's just one throw caught on video. It's a lot like when Tua threw that duck to Tyreek Hill, and everyone's like, look, he doesn't have the arm, you know. And for some reason, Dolphins social media shared that for some reason, which doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't even find it. You'd think it'd be like the number one thing.
They purged the internet of it. What team did he wind up going to?
The
I
Vikings.
forgot. Vikings.
That's
Vikings.
why I find it like amazing. But if you search JJ McCarthy and then scroll down, there's a lot of this post is unavailables. There's no way they could have made that many copyright claims.
It was not only copyright claims. They said it was derogatory and
it's
slander.
racist. If it was racist, Twitter would have like elevated it. This is no, I can't find it.
They kept reporting it for slander.
Mm-hmm. Man, I watched it over and over again. It made me laugh so much. Now I can't find it. Oh, well.
Let me tell you something. I'm currently on the West Coast, and being able to watch the Knicks play at 6 and the West Coast games just started. This is the time I'm going to bed. This is 10 o'clock Central Time. The Nuggets game just started at 8 o'clock. I'm like, this is actually kind of nice. Now, $5.50 for gas, not nice. Not nice at all.
You need to get a moped.
Oh man.
All right. Well, I think we gotta call it there. There's more scheduled stuff leaking out. Looks like the Bears.
Listen, the schedule officially comes out tomorrow.
Looks like the Bears might be at the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
I'll take that. And they're also in London. It's a home game in London, which I hate. They have to give up a home game.
Yeah. That's stinks.
Yeah, but it gets the Jags, so that'll be a game.
Jags, London is their team. You know, the Giants have they have a huge following in Germany.
Oh, do they really? The Bears do too. Like the Bears, every year they send guys over there to like help start up flag football teams and stuff like that.
Like the social media team will go out there and they have like all the old players will go to Germany and they like bars that just like huge Giants bars. I'm like, Jesus, this is like fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's weird that the teams that have, but then, you know, there's soccer bars around here, right? For teams that, you know, I don't get it either.
I walked into a place and they were watching the Premier League game today, and I was like,
yeah, what's that? Are you watching Ted Lasso?
Oh, okay. I need to finish season 2.
Me too. I got 20 minutes into the first episode of season 2 with the dog stuff, and now I don't have anything against dog. I'm just like, oh, what's the season going to be? They're going to intentionally try to be heartstring tugging. I can't handle it. I can't handle when it's intentional. All right. Well, I think we should do it, Harlan. That's it.
All right, man. Good one.